Gigi reading FoodWISE. And tonight we start part one. Very exciting. So we finished the introduction last night, and I'm just going to read a few paragraphs of that first part. The book is divided into 4 parts. The first is on our agricultural web that we are all a part of, and the second is on our personal world. So that first part is on our shared world of agriculture and food. And the second part is on our personal world of diet. And then I have parts on making FoodWISE real in our daily lives and recipes. So part one, our shared world of food and farming, choosing whole and sustainable from the ground up. The wise approach to food choices is something we put into action many times a day. Growing, buying, cooking, eating. We'll do it again tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. And our children will do it daily in years to come, and their children after that. So an agricultural web that allows us to make good food choices has to continue to exist into the future. It has to persist. The entire agricultural web of producers, transporters, processors, sellers, and consumers has to be sustainable. For today's agricultural web to be sustainable into the indefinite future, a lot of things have to go well. Land has to be available, and the soil, water, and air have to be right for food production. Financial incentives have to be adequate for farmers and fishers to produce whole food in a sustainable way. Incentives also need to be in place for processors and wholesale and retail suppliers to provide food sustainably. And every part of the system needs to be resilient to be able to adapt to changes as they come along. Finally, consumers need to have the financial ability, the opportunity, and the knowledge to buy, cook, and eat what they consider to be good food. I'm going to stop there because these few paragraphs get at what I've been saying for the past couple of weeks about the need to consider the larger agricultural web and this food supply chain that is so fragile, so vulnerable, and so important in terms of keeping everyone well fed. And so one spate, I guess, type of article is looking at farms and farmers going under. And dairy has loomed large in that respect. Dairy farmers dumping their milk. But I introduced this idea of rally for dairy because we have the infrastructure. And no, 10,000 cow dairies are not FoodWISE. That is not my ideal concept of FoodWISE. And I talked about that at length in the book, why that is so. Maybe 600 cow dairies are. And those are the kinds of dairies that we have in Whatcom County. And those dairies, those family farm dairies, are threatened now. And what is coming out in the literature and academic literature, as well as newspapers, are possibilities of food deficits and famines. And that's what I blogged on last night. And I include one of the references from last night in the description of this video today. Could it be that these dairy exports are going to fill a gap in deficits and famine experienced in other countries, much less our own? Could it be? Is it FoodWISE? Well, it's FoodWISE if it saves lives. So I suggest taking a look at our most vulnerable parts of the agricultural web right now and incentivize the continued production of those commodities that may be so important in terms of easing a deficit somewhere else while countries and regions are formulating their own resilience plans. So plans to be able to weather tremendous threats such as the coronavirus as it continues and should it appear again. Although it's other threats that I talk about in the book, the one that we've got now is the real one.